Jeff Gordon has been knocking tenths out of Kevin Harvick's lead.
I'm racing. They still got a pit. Just stay calm, man. There ain't nothing you can do about it. You just got to keep going. He's 2 now. Only the 2 car ahead of you. And he just pit. You'll get the lead right here. You got 12 calling in front of Harvick.
Harvick got a great run down the back straightaway.
Coming to the checker. Watch your mirror hard.
Win number 89 for Jeff Gordon by 2 car lengths over Kevin Harvick.
Woo! Awesome pit stop and great job today, guys. Proud of you. How does that feel, boys? That weight that just lifted off of our shoulders.
Both races here. Jeff Gordon and Jimmie Johnson, 2-time Kansas winners.
Another driver that's been on the move, to no surprise, he's been on the move all year long here in 2014, is Jeff Gordon. That 24 car started outside the top 10 and 13th, and now he has moved up to the 10th position in the top 10. And Mike, I think you were a part of it. How about celebrating the 20th anniversary this past week of that first Sprint Cup Series win of '88? Did it at the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Yes, with Marcus Smith of Charlotte Motor Speedway, and they made a great presentation to Jeff. They got hold of his gloves from that victory 20 years ago from the JGI office, made a nice collage with them. And I listened carefully to Jeff's presser, and never have I heard him in such a long time as confident and committed to trying to win this championship as he is right now.
Well, you remember Dale Earnhardt Sr. gave him such a hard time because he was emotional. It was his first win, and he was crying in Victory Circle when he won that race. And Earnhardt wore that poor kid out all the way to the banquet.
Yep.
When he toasted him with a glass of milk. Larry, sometimes we talk about the 24 car, for instance, being good on the long run. We got a little battle going on here. But always talk about the car being good on the long run. And sometimes I think, well, maybe it's not the car. Maybe it's the driver that's good on the long run. Maybe he has to get comfortable and get in his rhythm. And so it kind of, the car and the driver complement each other.
Well, I think that's definitely the case a lot of times when we talk about a race with Jeff Gordon in that 24 car.
And look at how Gordon has caught this group and gotten very close up to the 42 of Kyle Larson. A couple of young fellas. I still think Gordon's a young fella. He's 42. To me, that's young. But 2 young fellas who cut their teeth on open wheel.
Mike, that guy on the outside is young.
Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon has moved up to 7th. Dan
At the end of the back straightaway, getting off into turn 3.
That he did. And Jeff Gordon is on a tear. He's caught Kurt Busch. This will be for 6th place. Gordon started 13th. Takes away the inside.
But you said he gave him a shot. That's back in the day, we called that the chrome horn. That's like, hey, dude, you're holding me up.
Get out of my way. I would say these drivers are starting to.
Jeff Gordon continues to impress. His next target will be this car, the 2 of Brad Keselowski. Steve?
And Brad Keselowski, Mike, said that he was tight getting into turn 1, but he all
around the garage, the talk is, what would Rodney Childers do? He is Harvick's new crew chief. He's the talk of that garage area. It's no one thing, Darrell, but it's a great combination they put together there at Stewart-Haas. And boy, it's paying dividends.
It really is. Great package.
Jeff Gordon up to 6th. He is 10ths behind Brad Keselowski. Road. And here's your leader. 42 years old, 20 years since his first victory, first of 88 wins in what's now the Sprint Cup Series.
And what a season he's having, leading the points.
On pit road. As Gordon reaches his pit box, Krista.
Yep, Jeff Gordon in turn 3 and 4. He said he's pretty good, but he's having trouble getting the throttle on turn 2. Off of turn 2, the exit, that's where they're making the adjustment to give him that ability to turn off at turn 2. But really, 3 and 4 has been the problem turn for a lot of these teams. That's where Jeff Gordon's making up time.
Momentum and a lot of spots. Earlier, Jamie McMurray and Jeff Gordon battled for either 6th or 7th spot, and now they're going at it again for 7th after the restart.
I just think about 8 or 10 laps into a run, that's where that 24 car of Jeff Gordon really comes to life.
Yeah, we've just seen that so many times this year, time and time again. California, Darlington, you name it. Every time we go to a track like this, particularly bigger racetrack, that 24 has the best long run car in the field.
And he addressed that, Darrell, during the press conference Wednesday. before the Coke 600. And he says, I don't know if we have a long run car or I'm just a long run driver, but it seems the more laps we run, the better we get.
Yeah, that was my point there a bit ago. We call the car, we always say it's the car. Well, it's probably the car and the driver. They complement each other.
Yeah. How about Jeff Gordon, that 24 car? There was nothing weak about that restart.
And racing hard, I might say. And there goes Jeff Gordon into 4th place.
Behind him, Jeff Gordon closing. Gordon's got a good run, but he's going to track Keselowski off into the corner. Yeah, and this is an orderly 2x2 restart.
That was smart.
This is an orderly 2x2 restart.
That was smart on Jeff Gordon's part. He could have dove down on that flat on the apron, but it probably would have put the 2 car in harm's way, and he elected not to.
Now, when I look at Carl Edwards in the 99 and Jeff Gordon in the 24, they have not made a pit stop since their green flag stops. So they only have about 20 laps that they can go, and that's utilizing all these cautions we've had that they'll have to make a green flag stop.
Gordon to the inside on Keselowski.
I think the way these guys are racing, Larry, off their apron here on the front straightaway down into turn 1, they might get a caution here pretty quick because it's sure crazy looking going off into turn 1.
15 yellow flags in last year's. Second place, Jeff Gordon came off that turn like he was shot out of a cannon.
Boy, I'll say.
Blast past Carl Edwards.
Carl just gave him that spot. He said, man, you're bad fast right now. Go ahead. See if you can do anything with that 4 car while you're at it.
And Gordon is now just 3/4 of a second behind Kevin Harvick after starting this race 13th.
That 24 car, I think he may be a match for the 4. They're running identical lines right around the bottom on the white line.
But Jeff Gordon edges ever closer, slightly.
Yeah, it's almost like Harv keeps an eye on him. He closes in a little bit, and then Kevin seems to pick it up a little bit. They've been kind of cat and mouse, back and forth here. I still think Harvick's obviously got the better car, and I believe he's just kind of keeping Jeff Gordon at bay.
And again, Jeff Gordon will have to make a green flag pit stop probably within the next 8 to 9 laps. Is that what you're hearing, Krista?
Right around lap 100 is their plan. Rodney Childers has told Kevin Harvick he can make it as far as 101. But one of the things to keep your eye on Jeff Gordon, not only Larry Mack do they have speed, they have efficiency. The problem with Jeff Gordon's car early in the race, he said, being back in the throttle off of turn 2. By lap 70, his spotter Eddie DeHaan said, guess what, Jeff? Guess where you're good? Getting off of turn 2. The adjustments have been working.
On Denny Hamlin again, 24 on pit road. That 4 car, he can pass anywhere he catches it. He high, low, it doesn't matter to him.
Scheduled stop under green for Jeff Gordon. Harvick, Edwards, and Keselowski will have to come in soon. Krista.
As Jeff Gordon brings his Chevrolet to his pit stall, he's been a little bit free and then a little tight in 4. He said he needs just a slight adjustment on the left rear is where they're going to make that with air pressure. You see it's a 4-tire change, and Kansas is definitely a Jeff Gordon style track.
That seemed a little long on that stop. Maybe they're sitting there getting it full of fuel, maybe, Larry, because it seemed a little long on the left side.
I saw something interesting there. The tire changer pulls the tire off the right rear, hands it to the jack man, hands it to someone at the front of the car. They carry it around the front instead of around the back.
These teams continue to try to find things and do things differently to speed their stops up. Now you're seeing Kevin Harvick in the 4 make.
Well, like Larry and I were saying, probably if you're going to try 2 tires, it's not a bad time to see what you got and see how you stack up against the competition with 4 tires. Might be something you want to pull here at the end of the night.
Now Casey Mears in the 13 is a lap down as Jeff Gordon goes by. These cautions and these cautions coming right in the middle of.
Michael, earlier this week, Jeff Gordon celebrated the 20th anniversary of that very first win at Charlotte Motor Speedway in 1994. He appears to be the only driver that can keep Kevin Harvick in sight. I think tonight might be about win number 89, 21st right now. And they all will need to make green flag pit stops before long from now.
So staying on the lead lap could be difficult.
One driver that was glad to see this caution flag was Jeff Gordon in that 24 car right there. But he's in a little bit of a box because he has not been to pit road since lap 100. We are lap 155. 55 laps. That's the reason you see Jeff running down on the apron because the fuel pickup is in the right rear corner, and he's trying to keep the fuel from running away from that pickup. They really hope to see pit road open pretty soon.
Yeah, he and Carl Edwards, Larry, who was in 3 laps later. They are most at risk at running out of fuel. They could stop even though the pits are closed, but the penalty for doing so is David Gilliland swept up in the 7th caution flag of the night. Jeff Gordon goes after teammate Casey Kane and takes away 6th place.
He's been in the same boat as Kevin Harvick, because remember, he got trapped after making a green flag pit stop and took the wave around at that 4th caution at lap 109. It's taken him this long to get back up there as well, just like 3rd.
And I like the guy that's running in 5th, Chris, Jeff Gordon. He's had the same trouble that Kevin Harvick's had all night, losing his track position. Like Harvick, he's battled back to a top 5 spot. Look for Jeff Gordon to close strong tonight.
Harvick, who's led the most laps in this race.
Busch in 4th, not anymore. Jeff Gordon to be inside for 4th place. As Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon both just logged their fastest laps of the night.
Wall going off into turn 1, but it wasn't very severe, and it hadn't affected the car much at all. That was early on. That was several laps ago.
Teammates battling for 3rd, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon.
4 tires. Brad Keselowski, they did fuel only.
Jeff Gordon trying to get some clean air across the hood of his Chevrolet. Takes 3rd away from his teammate.
Got 3 Hendrick, got the Hendrick
Weekend that they'll have off again.
This is what I like, though. Golden opportunity. Capitalize on it. Go out here, run all the laps, get the best possible finish you can. Don't make any mistakes, and capitalize on this opportunity.
I think capitalizing is what Jeff Gordon in that 24 car is about to do when he caught Joey Logano in that 22.
Did you see the pointer going into turn 1? 205 miles per hour.
That's
Kyle Busch,
moving, baby.
Matt, Jeff Gordon has been knocking tenths out of Kevin Harvick's lead. 2 tenths last lap and 2 tenths the lap before. It's down to 2.4 seconds.
I think that'll balance back out. Kevin's had to pass a couple of cars. Slows him down a little bit.
We just saw Kyle Busch in that 18 car. He's back in the 22nd position, 1 lap down, but he's the first driver that's 1 lap down, so he would get the free pass.
Well, for the 3rd lap in a row here, Gordon has been faster than Harvick. Look at it come down. Look at Gordon get that run off turn 4. He picked up another 2 tenths on Harvick that time, and traffic was not a factor. Now that lap leader Kevin Harvick had to deal with the lap car of Michael Annett, and Jeff Gordon chopped almost a second off Harvick's lead.
Oh, he can look out there. He can see that 4 car now.
Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. are pit side for service. So is Danica Patrick.
I think Harvick has to come this time. He can't stay out there.
You know what Jeff Gordon was doing, Mike? He was running some of his fastest laps because he knew he was getting ready to pit.
Krista.
Well, Jeff Gordon said taking 2 tires on the last stop allowed him to run up top. They're taking 4 for this final stretch.
And the leader.
I didn't think the 4 car had a stellar stop, and he didn't, because as they come back out on the track, the 24 just went by Kevin Harvick going down the back straightaway. But I mean, the 24 had another one of their great stops, and the 4 mediocre stop. And when they came back out on the track, the 24 was ahead of the 4, and you can see right there, Larry, the difference.
Yeah, you can see Kevin Harvick was a little bit better than Jeff Gordon, but you can see the difference right there in the crew. And right now, Jeff Gordon's he's going to be in front of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, he's in front of him by a good bit and actually pulling away. They came out pretty close together. Gordon was ahead of Harvick going down the back when he came back up on the track. And right now, Jeff Gordon is pulling away from Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that graphic actually gave the advantage to Kevin Harvick, but Jeff Gordon pitted a lap earlier than Kevin Harvick that gave him that much of an advantage as far as fresh tires.
Make that final pit stop. Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, and Tony Stewart. So here's Jeff Gordon in 6th, the first of the drivers that have made that final scheduled stop. Harry, if they make a final stop.
Well, they would have to go 63 laps, Mike, and that would be essentially with no help from caution.
Jeff Gordon is now 0.8 of a second up on the number 4.
Yeah, that's the battle I've been watching, these two guys right here, because I figured it'd filter back to them sooner or later. But the 4 car, I think Kevin tried, and he realized he's not going to be able to get around Jeff Gordon, and he's cooled his jets just a little bit right now. I don't know if he thinks he can make a late run at him or not, but right now the 24 is the best car.
Driver to make their green flag pit stop, and Jeff Gordon, the point leader, coming in, who said Wednesday in a press conference, he said points are fine, but everybody wants to, needs to get a win this year. Everything has changed.
He said he would give the points lead up. He'd give his top 5 backs, his top 10s. He wouldn't care if he was 23rd in points. I just want to win a race.
Well, he's going to have a great chance tonight. He's a little bit better than Kevin Harvick, but he does get held up in traffic a tad here. He's having trouble getting by the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, which is allowing Kevin to close up pretty quick here, but I just don't think Kevin's got the car to run with the 24 right now.
Well, certainly getting past Hamlin took a lot out of Jeff Gordon's lead. Less than half a second. 7 to go.
Seemed like when Kevin Harvick moved to the very top of the racetrack, I mean, just tippy-toeing around the top, he picked up a little bit of speed, but I don't think it's enough to run down the 24. I just don't think he's got what it takes.
And they had identical lap times that time around, within 2/100ths of a second. 6 to go.
And they're running 2 totally different lines. The 24 around the bottom, the 4 up around the top. And I think the 24 is just prevailing right now with a little bit better race car.
And Gordon caught rookie Alex Bowman at a great place, the end of the back straightaway, so it did not much affect Gordon's corner entry and slow him down.
And it did hurt Kevin some on the corner exit there, because he caught him right in the middle of the corner. So right now, Jeff Gordon in the catbird seat. He's pulling away from Kevin Harvick, and that's the only competition he's got right now.
Yeah, that was a big chunk that time, Jeff Gordon over Kevin Harvick as far as the scoring monitor.
An amazing night for Danica Patrick tonight. Just runs solid all night long. Been in the top 10, and here she is, going to come 7th right now with just a few laps to go.
And she could be on the verge of her best career Sprint Cup finish.
Yeah, Mike, she only has 1 top 10, and that was 8th in that Daytona 500 last year where she sat on the pole.
Alan Gustafson grew up a Jeff Gordon fan. Now he is Jeff's crew chief and strategist. Did he make the winning call?
I think he did tonight. The car has just been flawless. It's good on the long run, and right now that's what he's having, and he's just again continuing to stretch it out over the 4 car of Kevin Harvick.
1.1 seconds now with 3 to go.
And not a lot of traffic ahead either. It's pretty clear sailing, a couple of cars, but no real issues.
Harvick did get 2 tenths back that lap right there.
I think right now, I think Larry Jeff's just looking in his mirror and saying, look, I don't want to make any mistakes. Don't want to overdrive this thing. Don't want to do anything wrong. And, of course, we know how great Jeff Gordon is. He never makes very many mistakes.
Lap traffic ahead. Greg Biffle and some slower cars ahead of him. 2 laps to go.
Dead even that time on the stopwatch.
Just being real cautious.
Casey Kane is 3rd, 10 seconds back. Then Joey Logano, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 16 cars on the lead lap. Biffle the last of them. Around the outside of Travis Kvapil's number 32.
Here he comes.
Jeff Gordon will be looking at the white flag.
And that's the first flag he wanted to see for sure.
The race will end no matter what. And we got us another winner, boys.
Boy, Harvick
Harvick's
is coming all over the racetrack. And a lot of traffic in front of Jeff Gordon. He's going to catch him down in turn 3 and 4.
Harvick got a great run down the back straightaway. It's down to half a second.
He'll try.
4/10 of a second.
I think it's
a 1/3 of a second.
Great effort.
Jeff Gordon off turn 4. Win number 89 for Jeff Gordon by 2 car lengths over Kevin Harvick.
Harvick made it interesting, though.
A little bit of traffic that he ran up on. I just think Jeff was being mighty cautious.
3rd on the all-time NASCAR win list. His last victory, Martinsville, in October. He is the 9th driver to win in 2014. And it is Jeff Gordon's 19th different season with at least 1 victory.
Hey, boys, you think we could have 16 winners this year?
We're working that
sneaking
direction.
up on it.
Getting them closer every week.
Jeff's last Kansas win came in 2002, 12 years ago. And look at how Harvick went from half a second down to 2 car lengths back at the wire.
He gave it all he had, and what a great night for the 4 cars. Started on the pole with a new track record. Finished second to this man right here. Mike, you think the man could win 100 races? Didn't know if I'd ever see that or not. That's 89.
If I was David Pearson with 105, I'd be counting.
I'd be worried.
Yeah.
A lot of season's best in this finishing order. Jeff Gordon getting the win. Casey Kane third, his first top 5 of the year. And how about a career best finish for Danica Patrick in that 10? Finished 7th. She was up there all night long.
And what about Matt Kenseth? He comes home 10th.
Yeah, what a great rebound there.
Unbelievable.
Joey Logano, the first Ford, in 4th, and Kenseth, the first Toyota, in 10th.
Kyle Larson, the rookie, he finishes 12th. Another good night for him.
And a tremendous win for 4-time, he'll remind you, Winston Cup champion, but he wants to win a Sprint Cup championship under this format. Jeff Gordon, a winner in Kansas.
Yeehaw.
Awesome job, man. How does that feel, boys? That weight that just lifted off of our shoulders.
And we welcome you to the Sprint Post-Race Show. A terrific amount of weight off the shoulders of Jeff Gordon, the points leader with his first win of the season, ending a string of 13 races when he has not won. And, of course, the 89th career victory, 3rd all-time, and the first 3-time winner here at the Kansas Speedway. And Steve Burns is down there for the celebration. Steve?
Jeff, 89th career victory. You guys have been so good this year. Did you know this was going to be the night?
I knew we had a fast race car. We've been bringing fast race cars every single weekend, and it's just given me so much confidence in the race cars and the race team. I got to thank Exalted Coating Systems with an awesome sponsor. And when the lights went out, we could still see this thing out there. And, of course, AARP and Drive In Hunger and Pepsi Max. Also Valvoline Chevrolet. But, you know, Kevin was tough. He was so strong. I did not know if I could hold him off, and I almost didn't there at the end. When I caught traffic, the car just got extremely loose on me, and he was just coming. So luckily that was the checker flag. I got to say Happy Mother's Day. What an amazing Mother's Day present this is going to be. Can't wait to see my wife Ingrid and my mom tomorrow. It's going to be an amazing celebration. This is so sweet. I mean, what a huge weight lifted off this team's shoulders. We've been leading the points, but we need to get to victory lane, and they proved they're capable of doing a great job by them.
What was the key to winning this race, Jeff?
Well, I think it was overcoming a lot of adversity. We had a lot of things in the first half of the race that did not go our way. We knew we had a fast race car. We weren't sure if we had as good a race car as Kevin, but I thought if we got in front of him, we could hold him off. And then that last pit stop, I mean, you know, we cycled out in front of Kevin, and it was confusing because there were guys still out there, so we weren't in the lead. And I pulled away from him. The car was just driving unbelievable. And then all of a sudden I started getting extremely loose. And he faded, but then he kept coming back on me, and then my car would tighten up, and I'd go forward again, and then he'd fade, and we just kept going back and forth. But the key was getting out front, and this pit crew, and Alan Gustafson, all these engineers, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, that's who won this race, because we've been building up to this all season long.
Enjoy the win, Jeff.
Woo! You can believe we're going to do that. Yeah!
Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Jeff Gordon 1 year ago was talking about retiring. Now he's talking about winning his 5th championship. That team's on a roll. They're fast.
All right, here we go, bud. Let's rip them apart tonight. Here we go. The leader is going green.
Jeff Gordon is on a tear. He's caught Kurt Busch. This will be for 6th place. Gordon started 13th.
The car was good right from the beginning. We saw early on that Harvick was going to be the car to beat. You know, I felt like we just needed track position and to get up there to compete with him.
2nd place, Jeff Gordon. Came off that turn like he was shot out of a cannon.
I think he may be a match for the 4th.
We got into 2nd place, and I was able to push the car the hardest that I had throughout the whole race.
Jeff Gordon edges ever closer.
Got pretty excited. I could just tell the car was really good. And then he adjusted his line and kind of pulled away from me a little bit, and I was like, all right, he's going to be tough to beat.
Save gas, save gas. We're right on our window. They take a bit in Jamie's cars on pit road.
For Jeff Gordon and everybody else that need to get onto pit road to get Sunoco fuel, won't happen this lap. It is still closed as cleanup continues.
How far do I have do I have 2 laps? Yeah, I'd say so.
I was pretty nervous. I know Alan and the guys on the team were very, very nervous.
I appreciate the track cleanup crew and everything they do, but I was like, man, I was wanting to get out there and get a broom myself and start sweeping it up.
Luckily, worked out. We saw just how good a fuel mileage we're getting tonight.
2 tenths on him that lap. Doing good right here.
Jeff Gordon has been knocking tenths out of Kevin Harvick's lead.
And we're going to see a lot of these drivers starting to make green flag pit stops.
You want me to come this time? Yes, pit this time, pit this time.
And the leader is in, Kevin Harvick to the pit lane.
Didn't think the 4 car had a stellar stop, and he didn't, because as they come back out on the track, the 24 just went by Kevin Harvick going down the back straightaway.
And I knew at that moment, oh, it's on. You know, he's not going to be easy to keep behind me, but the only chance we have of winning this race is right now.
Anytime we had clean track, we could pull away, and it seemed like anytime we caught traffic, he would make up some time, and in certain instances, it was significant time.
Getting past Hamlin took a lot out of Jeff Gordon's lead, less than half a second.
I remember a day when lap cars, you came up on them, they moved over and you kind of went by in your lane. These days, I don't know what lane they're going to run. They just run right in the middle of the track.
Jeff Gordon will be looking at the white flag. Harvick got a great run down the back straightaway.
His car must have started coming in at that time because he really gained that last lap. Certainly made me nervous.
Off turn 4, win number 89 for Jeff Gordon by 2 car lengths over Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, buddy, you can't keep us down that long. How does that feel, boys? That weight that just lifted off of our shoulders.
You know, I don't feel like I've been at my best in the last few years. This year I've been really inspired. I feel like the race cars are to my liking, and I'm able to be aggressive and push hard. I'm having fun. The whole team, we're just in sync. And it's showing week in and week out, and certainly showed tonight with that win.